Hello guys, today our discussion is more on withholding tax for 2022. So there's a difference between the computation of tax for 2021 and 2022 because of the government contribution that we have. So there's always an increase in the computation of the PhilHealth contribution, and also this year there is a difference between the increase of Ibig contribution. So let's start so that we will know how to compute withholding tax for 2022. So before the law was started, a single employee will pay more than tax than those employees who are already married. So exemption and deduction vary because of the employee's status. But today, it is not important anymore. So as long as you are employee and does not reach a monthly salary of 20,888.33 or 250,000 per year, then you are not entitled to pay any withholding tax. So imagine you will take home a much more salary than before. But I would like you to understand that even tax is already based on what you receive on your monthly salary. Governments such as your SSS, GSIS, PhilHealth, and Pag-ibig contribution are still deductible. When tax are computed annually to get the per annum basis, we are computing progressive income tax. Withholding tax, if applicable to you, are deducted to you on a semi-monthly or monthly basis. These monthly deductions are called monthly tax withheld. If your tax paid is more than the annual tax you paid to the company, then you are entitled to a tax refund. But if your tax is less than on what the company deduct to you, then you need to pay back DIR. This tax for pay is called tax still due and outstanding. Here's the tax table based on the train tax law. So, for example, your salary is only 20,000. So, you need to multiply it by 12. That makes 240,000. So, if you will base it on the table, 240,000 is under here. So, you have zero tax. So, for example, your salary is 30,000. Then, your salary will be based here on the second line because 30,000 multiplied by 12 is 360. So, 250 is exempted minus 360,000. So, the 110 in excess of 250 will be multiplied by 20%. So, 110 times 20%, how much? So, it will be 22,000 and you need to divide it by 12. So, you will get 1,833.33 per month. Okay, so you already know it, right? So, we have the EE and ER portion. That means you have the employee and employer relationship. So, there is a difference between the two because the employee, you have government contribution that will be distributed and will be deducted to your salary, while the ER distribution is your benefits from the employer. Okay? So, here's the table for revised PhilHealth contribution table 2020. So, 2022 is already 4%. That should be divided between the employee and employer. So that means you need to pay for 2% each, both for the employee and employer. This is the sample. So for example, is you have 25,000 salary. So EE portion is you need to multiply it by 2%. So that means you need to pay 500 and also 500 for the employer. Another example is if your salary is 35,000, then you need to multiply it by 2%. 35 times 2%, so you have 700 each both for EE and ER. For the SSS contribution, so here's the new SSS contribution table. So it's the same with the contribution SSS contribution table last year. So how to compute? For example, your monthly salary is 25,000. So if you base it on the table, 24,750 and above are the maximum salary for the SSS. So you have 1,125 share for the employee, and if you are basing on the table, 2,155 pesos for the employer. Okay? Another example is a monthly salary of 35,000. So that means it exceeds or it's the maximum contribution. So the employee contribution is 1125 and for the ER is 2155. Okay, for the GSIS contribution, so if your salary is 25,000, you need to base it from 25,000 multiplied by 9% so that you will have the employee, and 25,000 times 12% for the employer share. Okay, same with the 35,000, so you multiply 35,000 times 9% for the employee, which is 3,150,000, and 35,000 multiplied by 12%, which is 35,000 times 12 is 4,200. For the Ibig contribution as of today, 2022, so the contribution is 2% each, both for employee and employer. So as the same with the contribution for the PhilHealth. So you multiply it by 2%. So you have both 500 and 35,000 multiplied by 2%. Both EE and ER have 700 pesos. Please also remember this. BIR given us 90,000 maximum exemption for the allowances received by employees. So in excess of 90,000 will be subject to tax. Okay, so this is the sample computation for the train tax law on withholding tax formula. It's for the employee. So for example, you have the gross compensation income. So you multiply it by 12 so that you will have the annual gross compensation income. Add the other income. So other income means your 13-month pay, bonuses, some allowances, for example, food allowance, transportation allowance, etc. So that's other income. So you need to add the two to have total compensation income. That means to say that's what you receive for the whole year. So next is the government contribution. So you already know that. So you need to get the total annual contribution and you need to put it here. Next is we have the allowable deduction. So maximum is 90,000. Okay. So again, total compensation income minus the contribution, and then the allowable deduction is equals to net taxable income. So that's now the basis in order for you to compute the tax or the withholding tax formula for employees. So you need to see the progressive income tax table to get the annual tax, and you divide it by 12 to get the monthly tax contribution every year by the employee. Okay, so let's see the sample number 1. So we have sample here. So 23,000 is the monthly salary of the employee. He also received 1 month bonus and 1 month 13 monthly. So you need to compute the yearly and monthly withholding tax. So how to compute? First, we need to compute the government contribution. So we have PhilHealth, 23 times 2%. So we have 460. We have the SSS. So if you are basing it on the table, you have 1,035. Pag-Ibig is 460. So you need to add these 3 to make it monthly contribution of 1,955. So multiplied by 12, so you have the yearly contribution of 23,460. So for the allowable deduction, we have 1 month bonus, so 23,000 plus the 1 month 13 months, so it's also 23,000. So you have total allowable deduction of 46,000 pesos. Okay, so here's the result for sample number 1. So gross compensation income is 23,000 multiplied by 12. So we have 276,000. So add the other income, which is bonus and 13 months. So we have 46. So you add the 2 so that you will get the total gross compensation income of 322,000. And then you need to deduct the government contribution and the allowable deduction. Okay? So government contribution is 23,460. And the allowable deduction is 46,000. Okay? Why 46 and not 90,000? Because you only have other income of 46,000. So your allowable deduction is also the same. Okay? So you need to deduct all of these. 322 minus 23,460 minus 46. So you have the taxable income of 252,540,000. So for the annual tax, which is based on your table, and I hope you have your calcul and your table for the annual tax. So 250 is 0. So the remaining or the excess 2,540 will be multiplied by 20% to make it 1,510 pesos. So the annual tax is only 1,510 pesos, and the monthly tax that you need to pay every month for the BIR is 125.83. So how do I get it? 1,510 divided by 12 is equals to 125.83. Okay, so here's the sample number 2. A financial analyst received a monthly salary of 40,000 a month. So aside from his salary, she received a yearly bonus and 13-month pay. He also received a monthly transportation allowance of 5,000. So how to compute for that? So let's start to compute for the government contribution first. So we have 40,000 multiplied by 2%. So we have 800 monthly for PhilHealth. And SSS, if you are basing it on the table, that's maximum amount. So we have 1,125 for the SSS. And for the Pag-Ibig, you need also to multiply it by 2% to make it 800. So if you add these three, we have the monthly contribution of 2,725 pesos multiplied by 12 to have a yearly contribution of 32,700. Okay? For the allowable deduction, we have a bonus, 13-month, and a transfer allowance of 5,000 multiplied by 12 to make it 60,000. So all in all, the total allowable deduction is 140,000. Okay? So this is the result for the sample number 2. So gross compensation income is 40,000 multiplied by 12 to make it 480,000. So other income that we already computed, 140,000. So total is 620,000 pesos. Less the government contribution that we also already computed. So we have 32,700 minus the allowable deduction given by BIR, which is 90,000. So that's the maximum that we can deduct for the allowable deduction. Okay? So we deduct 620 minus 32,700 minus 90,000. So the taxable income of this employee or this financial analyst is 497,300 a month. So if you're basing it on the table, it's under column number 2. Okay, so 400,000, we already have a tax of 30,000 for this, and the remaining should be multiplied by 25%. So we have 97,300 multiplied by 25%, so we have 24,325. So you add the two, we have 54,325 annual tax, and divided by 12, the monthly tax paid by this financial analyst is 4,527.08. Okay? So, let's continue with the last example or the sample number 3. So, a teacher from government institution received a monthly salary of 28,000 a month. She received a mid-year and year-end 13-month pay, plus she also received a uniform allowance of 6,000. So, how to compute for that? Okay. So, we have PhilHealth, 28,000 times 2%, so we have 560 pesos. And because it's government institution, so we have the GSIS instead of SSS. So GSIS is 28,000 times 9%. So we have 2,520. And for the Pag-Ibig, we still have 28,000 multiplied by 2%. So we have 560 pesos. So add these three to make it a monthly contribution of 3,640 multiplied by 12. So you have a yearly contribution of 43,600. For the allowable deduction or other income, we have a 1-month mid-year bonus of 28. We have a 1-month 13-month pay of 28. We have the uniform allowance of 6,000. Okay? So the total allowable deduction is 62,000 per year. Okay. So here's the result or the last sample for this computation. So we have gross compensation income of 28,000 times 12. So we have 336,000. Add other income of 62. So if you add these two, we have 398,000. Less the government contribution that we already computed. So we have 43,600. Also deduct the allowable deduction from BIR, which is 62,000, which is not subject to tax. Okay? So, if you deduct these three, we have the taxable income of 292,400. Okay? So, we base it on column 1, which is 250,000 is exempted, and the remaining is subject to 20% tax. So, we have 42,400 multiplied by 20%, so we have 8,480 for the annual tax. And you divide it by 12 to make it monthly tax of 706 pesos and 67 centavos. So, I hope you understand our discussion for today. Again, this is Mam Ching, and I hope you understand our module for today. Okay, good luck to all of you guys.